Welcome back, watch fans. We're here at my stables where we breed the Kentucky Derby winning horses. And today we're talking about Rolex. We're talking about Rolex, and we're talking about you. A lot of you guys are peasants, right? And a lot of you tomato cans. Have a big problem. The problem is you lack cojones. You know what cojones is? You don't know what cojones is? You Google it. Ask Juan and Kino. They don't have cojones either. Well, look, guys, you guys have no balls. That's the problem. We're talking about the Rolex fanboys, the Omega fanboys, the Patek fanboys, and here's what I'm talking about, right? You know, 99. I'm talking about 99% of you peasants out there. 99% of you peasants out there, you all want the same garbage. You all want the same shit that everybody else has because, you know, you have no, first of all, you have no imagination, but also what it really is, you don't have the balls, okay, to, go in a slightly different direction because you're worried about what would other people think? What would the so-called experts in the watch community, what would the watch people think? Oh my God. I mean, so you end up buying, the same watches. All you guys are lemmings. You all have your sheep. You're all buying absolutely the same watches, right? And that actually makes, well, here's where the problem comes in. Let me explain to you what the real problem is because you don't understand your problem. I'm going to explain to you because I'm here to help you, okay? Now make sure you click the like, subscribe button. And become a subscriber, a member of the channel. Look, by the way, on the wrist we get a peasant watch, which is the Rolex King Tut, the Submariner. But it's slightly above being a peasant. Why? Because we get the rehaut. This is the pre-ceramic. You get the gold through the crest. So these were slightly more rare, if you will, than the basic Rolex Submariner and the basic King Tut, right? There's less of these. So if you buy this, if you go on Chrono, you're not going to see that many of these. You're going to see only one or two listed versus like 1,000 Submariners, right? So that's the concept, right? But here's the problem. The problem is when you buy these tomato can watches, when you become a crayon eater, when you become a window licker, when you become a horse's anus, what happens is two things. One is you're not really a real watch collector, okay? And by the way, I always say that nobody needs to be a watch collector, but a lot of you guys think of yourselves as like, oh, I'm a watch collector. Oh, I'm a watch expert. I'm a serious watch collector. Oh, I'm a whatever, right? It's part of your identity, right? It's part of your identity that you're like some sort of like, aristocrat. Meanwhile, you're basically just a Bukyakistani or a Chomostani, a Kakistani, right? You haven't been elevated to the aristocracy. Look, you're either one of two things, okay? Either you're part of Bukyakistan and Chomostan, or you're an aristocrat. There's really no middle lane, okay? That's kind of the reality. So what happens when you buy these basic watches, like even Breguet, like you got Archie Luxury with this basic bitch Breguet watches, which are mass-produced. Again, these are mass-produced garbage watches. Why does Archie not buy vintage, right? A lot of these guys, when I say vintage, we're not talking about, it's, they're old man watches. Where do you come up with this old man watches? Here's the thing. The reality is, most of you tomato cans, you got to answer yourself an honest question, right? You got to look yourself in the mirror. I know a lot of you guys are ugly and you're stupid looking, but look yourselves in the mirror and answer an honest question. 99% of you, okay, you buy a watch because you think it's going to make you cool, okay? Let's be honest, okay? I'm a little bit guilty of that also. I think, hey, I buy this watch, it's going to give me a certain feeling, right? Whatever, I don't know. But you buy the watch because you think, I'm doing this close-up because we know we have certain members of the watch community that, that have certain, this is for Juan. This is for Juan. This is for Juan and Kino. And also Curly and the Okuk. Oh, look at this. Wow, this is big horse. Oh my God. Sure, I don't know if we touch the horse. Man, I don't know. Oof. This guy likes Rolex. He wants the King Tut. You want the King Tut, don't you? Are you supposed to feed these guys? I don't even know. I don't know what to do with these guys. Actually, I'm not a. Oh, he's scratching his. He's scratching. He does. I thought he liked me. He's coming here to scratch himself. Oh, maybe I can scratch him. Should I scratch this horse? There we go. There we go. Yeah, these guys stink. They stink. Unbelievable. Unbelievable true. But so here's the problem is you guys keep buying the same watches because you want to be like everybody else. You want to be like everybody else. You're afraid. You're pack animals like these horses, right? You got to be in a pack. You're afraid to go out on your own, right? So, but look, if you want to be cool, we're talking about being cool, right? Everybody wants to be cool. So, like that movie with John Travolta, Be Cool, right? So, look, if you want to be cool, vintage is the way to go. Quite frankly, why? Because it means you think different. You have taste. Okay, it means you have a level of taste. Because two things. It means also you have knowledge. Because in order to buy vintage watches, here you need a couple things. Number one is to buy vintage. You gotta have knowledge, meaning that you can't just get into it, right? You have to know something. You gotta do research. You gotta spend time, right? It's a process. Number two is you got to have balls because, you're basically, when you buy a vintage watch, you're going to have tomato cans telling you, oh, that's a lady size watch. Oh, that's a girl size, or oh, this is an old man one. Whatever it is. Because these people don't know anything. They're tomato cans. They're jealous. And most of them are broke also. A lot of these guys are brokesters, okay? The guys who are talking about, lady size watches, they're broke usually, right? They're mooch bums. They're bukyaks. They're grifters like Juan and Kino, and I don't want this guy to scratch himself on that post. This is my Kentucky Derby horse right there. My Kentucky Derby horse. There we go. That's for you, Juan. You see that? There you go. There you go. Unbelievable. You got to give them, what they want. You got to give the punters what they want, right? So look, you got to have some balls, you got to have some knowledge, and you got to have taste. Balls, knowledge, and taste. That's what you need to be a serious watch collector. And this guy knows, this horse knows what you need to be a serious watch collector, right? You know, right? We're supposed to no, it doesn't want. Okay, all right. You don't want me to rub your nose, okay? All right, so here's the deal, guys. You need balls, you need knowledge, and you need taste, right? And most of you guys have no taste. Seriously, most of you guys, you're wearing the cargo shorts or the flip-flops, you're wearing the baseball cap and those. Listen, here's what we got to say. If anybody who wears a baseball, any grown man, okay? Any grown man, meaning like you're above the age of 18, okay? If you're above the age of 18, okay, and you're not a farmer, if you're not a farmer, okay, listen, farmers get a pass. If you're a farmer, you're outdoors, you're like, I don't know, whatever, a cowboy, you're like a bull rider, whatever, you're outdoors, baseball cap is actually practical, more practical than a cowboy hat. But look, unless you're a farmer, you're working outdoors, you should not be wearing a baseball cap, okay? No grown man. But if you do wear a baseball cap and your profession is not in the outdoors, it means you have no taste, okay? And you wear the flip-flops with your dirty feet, your toenails, and your cargo shorts, and you're sitting indoors with your flip-flops and your baseball cap like JJ Bukyak, or you wear Skechers, sneakers. It means you got no taste. You wear built-in pocket squares. You got the built-in pocket squares. So I understand if you fit in those categories. That basically means you really can't get in. The problem is you can't buy vintage watches because it means you have no taste, and you also you have no balls also, right? Because you want to fit in, right? You're a lemming. You want to fit in with the sheep. So it is what it is. I don't want to I don't want to make you guys feel bad, but look, sometimes you gotta face reality. You gotta face reality. And the thing about vintage, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Brad Pitt is kind of cool? I mean, you guys think Brad Pitt, right? Brad Pitt collects vintage watches, right? Brad Pitt wears some lady-sized watches. I can go down the whole list. But listen, I'm not here to what do you call it? I'm not here to. Want some of this? I'm not here to, what do you call it, I'm not here to go through a whole list here, but the reality is, when I say vintage, we're talking about stuff from the 1960s to the, early 2000s, neo-vintage, we might call it vintage, neo-vintage, whatever. So we're not talking about, antique watches from 1910. And guess what? These 1960s watches, 70s watches, 80s watches, they work just as good as your brand new modern watch, right? If you buy a Rolex Submariner from the 70s, it'll function just like this guy over here. Now, by the way, you notice I'm wearing size 7 Skechers. Actually, this is not Skechers, but this is look. I'm hiking in these mountains here, so this is kind of my what do you call it? This is I put these on when I go out here, and I don't even wear them in the car. I just wear this out here because it's kind of like it's not quite hiking boot environment. So these are just busted down sneakers. So this is actually almost as bad. This is almost as bad as wearing Skechers. This is almost as bad as wearing Skechers. That's how bad it is, okay? So if you wear sneakers like this, kind of like in your day-to-day, and not out here, look, I'm away from the masses, I'm away from my subjects, you could do that. When I'm in front of my subjects, my peoples, obviously I have to be shod in proper footwear. But that's how it works, right? That's how it works. So the thing is with these bukiaks out there, you're talking about the Juan and Kino. The guys tell you the watch market is dead. I mean, these guys the only thing they know about is modern Rolex. They don't know anything about Patek Philippe. The ellipse. The guy talks about the ellipse. Does he even have a perpetual calendar? Does Juan and Kino have a perpetual calendar? They don't. Does JJ Bukiak, how about the O'Cuck? How about the Bogan of Brisbane, Archie Luxury? How about Theo and Homo? How about the Dirty Sanchez crowd, right? The Dirty Sanchez fake aristocrat. They don't, right? Why? Why don't they have a Patek Philippe perpetual calendar? It means they're not real collectors, right? Because again, the Patek Philippe perpetual calendar represents the pinnacle of watchmaking. It's the best watch Patek Philippe ever made. Okay. Again, I'm not talking about like some bizarre complication, like I don't know, whatever, minute chime repeater. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about production. I'm talking about production, and they did make 4,000 of them over 25 years, which is only like 150 a year across 4 metals. So you got to understand something. When you buy a 3940, there's only 150 of them sold that year. Okay, and so if you buy, let's say, white gold, that means they only probably sold 30. They probably sold 25 or 30 white gold Patek 3940s. That's pretty rare. Okay, so that's what makes the watch special. No, besides, I'm not even talking about the rarity. I'm talking about the fact that it's an amazing watch. It's a perpetual fucking calendar. Do you understand what that means? You don't know what a perpetual calendar is? You Google it. And it's also the best looking one they ever made. It's the best looking perpetual calendar ever made. It's a beautiful classic watch. And Patek Philippe is considered the world's greatest watchmaker. So if anybody who does not have a Patek Philippe 3940 perpetual is a peasant.